Oh, wait, here I am. Hi, everybody. It's Paris. Welcome to the Paris Prickoppa Show. It is, what is this? It's Monday, the 23rd of November. And we still don't have finality in the elections, though the media will say that the elections are final. I disagree. Let me go here, make sure I'm picking up the right audio device. Okay, yes, I am so far. This thing's gotten me, my microphone has gotten me into trouble. So, ooh, look at my new microphone. See, isn't this nice? Nice stuff here. I hope it makes me sound incredibly dreamy and even more dreamy than I normally am. Well, hello, folks. I hope everybody is having a good almost Thanksgiving. Hello, Shannon, Ed. Uh-oh. Now, Ed Delgado is saying, what if the Kraken was one of those eggs Baby Yoda ate? Well, I hope he didn't eat the Kraken. We need the Kraken. So Darlene's there, and ooh, Shannon calls me sweetie. Hello, sweetie. How you doing? How you doing? Yeah, Ed gets hello, Ed, and Paris gets hello, sweetie. I absolutely love it. Well, anyway, I haven't been on a little bit. I'm just trying to digest everything, and there's so much going on, and it's just been an absolute chaotic mess. It's some days I feel like, oh yeah, Trump's going to get sworn in. Other days I feel like, well, yeah, it's too late. Why bother? And it's like, because you get pulling things from all over the place, things changing. And then yesterday, the biggest bombshell to drop was Sidney Powell suddenly saying, you've got the Trump campaign, Giuliani's team and everybody else saying that there's no affiliation with Sidney Powell. She's not with us. We don't work it. And then I did some research and I talked to some folks and everything else. Sidney Powell was never officially part of President Trump's legal team. She was never retained, never paid for by him. She's doing this out of her own free will in the court. And she's a person with an incredibly stellar reputation. And there's lots of people writing her off like she's some kind of moron who just strolled in, got their law degree from Walmart University or something like that. And then, she's not an idiot. And I can't imagine someone of her caliber putting their reputation on the line if they didn't have anything. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I couldn't imagine it doing it. But the beautiful part about her not being affiliated with the Trump campaign whatsoever is she's not bound by certain rules of decorum or certain rules of play. No matter what the outcome of President Trump versus Biden, it's ultimately going to be, this fight's going to be ongoing, and we need to uncover everything we can before that dreadful day where potentially Joe Biden is inaugurated and then ultimately resigns because he got sick, and then Kamala Harris is president. Then all bets are off. We don't want that to happen. There's still a lot of things. Alan Dershowitz says that President Trump still has various channels and abilities going forward. Still. And Alan Dershowitz, if you remember, he was a Democrat. He is a Democrat. And he was actually a big Hillary Clinton supporter in 2016. But he's also someone that sees the legalities of things that most people don't do that. Yeah, they are really cutting it close to the last minute, but I think it has to be because you want to catch these folks off time. Oh, good. We got our first troll of the night. The beautiful day, January 20th, and all the cult Trumpsters vanished. You guys have no idea what you've unleashed, because we're already proving that there is cheating. But the issue is, does it rise to the level of overturning the election? And nobody knows that. And ultimately, this is uncharted territory in a lot of ways. So we'll have to wait and see. But I'm confident either way, and I'm confident that socialism is dead. It lost on election day, which is very nice. But anyway, so long, Lamicon, whoever you are. Yeah, there's going to be. Actually, it depends on what language you're looking at. Now, since they have no argument to correcting me, Kraken versus Kraken, it's actually Kraken. It's actually, they say it's from Scandinavian mythology or something like Norse mythology or whatever, but it's actually it could be from Greek mythology as well. There was a Kraken in Greek mythology. So, yeah, sorry, nice try. Getting nervous. I think a huge bombshell is coming. Trump's waiting to play his Trump card. And I think they're going to be flanked. They're going to be flanked by in all directions. But the question is, there's still a lot of assumptions happening. Let's say Trump is able to prove all the cheating unequivocally, that it equated to thousands and tens of thousands of votes, which it likely did. And we saw this in 2018 in Wisconsin. There's some shenanigans happening here. But the curious part about this is we're assuming the Supreme Court is going to side on the side of law and justice. We don't know. There's a whole lot of possibilities here. First of all, what will John Roberts do? What will Gorsuch do? Gorsuch has been strange on a couple of rulings as well. I don't see, even if Kavanaugh had his reservations, I guarantee he's probably going to like, hello, Kamala, remember me and how much of a bitch you were to me on my confirmation hearing? And then Clarence Thomas is going to say, hello, Joe Biden, remember me, how much of an ass you were to me during my confirmation hearing? And of course, Alito is usually on the right side of the Constitution. And so it's all I can guarantee right now is 3 solid on the conservative side. We don't know what Gorsuch is going to do. We don't know what John Roberts is going to do. And then there's Amy Coney Barrett. The assumption is she would vote with the conservatives, but we don't know. Once again, we don't know what the case is. And I've been saying this from the beginning. Oh my God. Okay. So here's what this person, dude, there's no cheating, still zero evidence. There's a lot of evidence. There's actually a lot of evidence, including people filling out ballots for elderly at nursing homes. This woman's 103-year-old father voted, and he's in a state of dementia. There is cheating. Depends on what level it rises to. Yep. And we know. No, there's a lot more anecdotal cases of this. There's thousands upon thousands of cases. And okay, I'll ask you, I'll riddle me this, Lamicon music. And I do appreciate you joining. I like having a challenge, and I love public discourse. It's always good. But riddle me this. Why is it only the Democrats don't want to count the votes? If you believe Joe Biden won fair and square, then counting and recounting and auditing and making sure everything matches up will only solidify Joe Biden's presidency. What the hell are you afraid of? Seriously, what are you afraid of? Even if Joe Biden was behind in the electoral counts, I wouldn't have a problem with looking at the votes again. I didn't have a problem with the Green Party looking at the votes. I didn't think it would change anything in 2016. But they had every right to look at them and have a recount. I have no problems. Actually, they have said that. In fact, they're saying he's got to concede now. Quickly, we got to concede now because we got to transition, because they're blaming the bad transition or the short transition back in 2000 for the the attack in the World Trade Center, even though Osama bin Laden had been planning that attack for well over 2 years. So, yeah. And the Democrats are not only disputing the recount, they are also changing the rules after the game has been played. They tried to do that right here in Wisconsin, where they basically want to prevent any ballots from being challenged. They didn't want to separate out the ballots that were mailed in versus the ones that were here, because we had over 200,000 people that considered themselves indefinitely confined. And guess what happens with the indefinitely confined? They don't have to show an ID. So we have 230,000 votes that didn't have to show an ID. There is no chain of custody, no way to prove that those are legitimate votes. So, and if I'm reaching, Joe Biden will be president. So we got plenty of time. Al Gore had 37 days for one state. If we've got multiple states in contention. The dishonest Dems are the same party. Yep. And obviously, a perfect point, Darby. The Democrats are the only ones that oppose voter ID. There's the one that said it disenfranchises black voters. So what the Democrat leadership is saying is that black voters are too stupid to get an ID. If I were black, I'd be offended by that. Name any person in the country who doesn't have a flippin' ID. Anyone. Okay, I'm brainwashed. Well, bye-bye. Have fun. Yeah, where's this guy to get it? Corn Pop, yep. Well, they're getting their news because CNN says so, because CNN always declares the winner. We all know that because they're so open-minded and such good reporters. They're doing journalism. It's such extreme journalism. But at any rate, so we've got that happening. We got Sidney Powell out there. We're going to wait and see. If there's nothing there and it's not provable in the court of law, Joe Biden's going to win. It is what it is. I don't have an issue losing, but I do have an issue losing to cheating. So we need to prove it. And we need to prove that it didn't happen then. Don't the Democrats want to prove to everybody, hey, there was no cheating? This guy's saying there's no cheating. But I guarantee if the tables were turned, he'd be saying they were cheating. I bet you whoever this person is was saying they were cheating back when George W. Bush won re-election. You know, he's the one that said, remember all the Democrats that were saying the voting machines in Ohio. And guess what? They're the same voting machines that they're using today. Ever heard of Dominion? Maybe there was some truth to it. The Bushes are a very plugged in political family. Anything's possible. Yeah, that's why Alito was signed. He might be sore. They rebuked. Yeah, so I think they did rebuke his order, and I doubt they did. They have to keep everything merged together because if they didn't commingle them, you'd be able to determine which ones are the fraudulent votes. That's the whole point of this. But in the end, I don't know what Birdman is saying. Birdman forever. Evidence is not fact. Accusations are just conjecture. Maybe not. We don't know. We haven't seen the evidence. That's the whole point. Even the media, they haven't seen the evidence. Even Tucker Carlson got frustrated because he hasn't seen the evidence. Well, what lawyer worth their salt is going to show the evidence to the media? You show it in a court of law and we'll see it. I'll get over it when all the votes are counted and when all the legal votes are counted, not the illegal votes. I want those thrown out. And if there are illegal votes that were counted, but it doesn't rise to the level of overturning states, well, so Joe Biden wins. But once again, we still have to get to the bottom of this. You guys should want that too. So, yeah, and that's the whole point. That's a great point, Ed Delgado. For this all to be true, Joe Biden, who ironically enough underperformed Hillary Clinton everywhere in the country, in every major city in the country, except for Philadelphia, Detroit, Atlanta, Milwaukee. You see a pattern here? Phoenix, Tucson, Las Vegas. Seeing a pattern here? More than likely Minneapolis. More than likely Richmond, Virginia. Yep. And Texas opposed the Dominion machines because of their track record and their history. So, yeah, it's a chaotic mess no matter what. Once again, we're also coming to the unfortunate big financial investment by George Soros and company, who invested something like $34 billion into our election. They don't care who wins. All they care about is for basically everybody be fighting over everything. So what was created was doubt, whether it was real or not. Half the country wouldn't accept the results. It just is what it is. And I guarantee the internet troll here who's making the argument for Biden would be arguing against Trump if Trump were ahead in electoral college right now. So, and then, yep, we're still wondering how large Dominion played California results. I'm telling you, California was in play. There's something going on there. And then when you got the media all colluding in an effort to make sure that the Trump vote was depressed, well, they failed. Trump got well over 70 million votes. We don't know for sure how many Joe Biden actually got, but let's assume Joe Biden and Trump both got the highest vote total ever in the history of this country. And if all this were to be true, Joe Biden, the old white guy with the racist history, Joe Biden, the man with dementia, and his vice president, who literally was so awful that the Democrats didn't even want her. She didn't get a single vote. She didn't even make it to the primaries. So the Democrats even rejected her. You're telling me that these two people got more votes than Barack Obama did in 2008? Hell no. Hell no. There is no way. I'm sorry. And you like Obama or not? He was energizing to his base. He was an eloquent speaker when he was on teleprompter. Most of us saw through the BS, but the guy could deliver an amazing speech. He had an opportunity to unite the country behind him. He failed because all he did was race bait. He could have been a more moderate president, and he'd go down in history of being an amazing president. Now he's just going to be remembered because of the color of his skin. And that's sad. That's not what Martin Luther King was fighting for. He wanted people to be remembered for more than that. Well, there is the so-called Biden, and those are the people that are just anti-Trump no matter what. And that was a factor. But people were anti-Trump in 2012 as well. So let's, Joe Biden got 15 million more votes than Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton was a historic figure. She would have been the first woman president and everything. Joe Biden, this old guy who's run for president 3 times, who can't even remember what he ate for lunch. It's not likely. But it is what it is. We will find out soon enough. And if not, we have a Joe Biden presidency, and thank goodness we'll likely hold on to the Senate. So that means none of his left-wing agenda will get passed. He could try to do some damage with executive order, and he probably will. And then when he stops being president, I'd say by summertime, it'll be Kamala Harris, and Kamala Harris will try to be ultra left-wing. And, she'll try to sleep with a few people to get some things done like she normally does. And, that'll be that. Nobody has any respect for Kamala Harris. She literally slept into her first position, slept her way into her first position with her first big job. Yep. And ultimately, I mean, that's what it comes down to. We've got a simple, and I've said this from the beginning. The only way Trump wins this is if he can there has to be solid evidence proven in court, not the court of public opinion. It has to be proven in court. If it's not there, he will not win. Yeah, good old Willie Brown. Yep, exactly. He did not fire her. We've been talking about this a little bit. JD, you're joining us a little late, but I did talk about that. I actually think she's doing her own thing, and I think she's been doing her own thing from the very beginning. She's charged with a certain portion of it. Oh, this is a great point, Jacqueline. I'd like to see. She's saying I'd like to see Obama come out and congratulate Biden for getting more votes than him. Yeah, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think there's something. There is something rotten in Denmark, but we ultimately have to prove it. And I'm getting tired of. I mean, this press conference on Friday was absolutely useless. It kind of ticked me off. We got all this evidence, but. Yeah, we needed more than that. I'm not saying they should show their whole case, but they should have shown something. But but I'm not going to throw Sidney Powell under the bus. Like I said, she's very reputable. She's not going to put her whole reputation on the line for something that isn't true. I mean, she's likely wouldn't do that, but in the end, we're going to know. And then Ed brings up a great point. At this point, Trump wins by jamming up the Electoral College, and it can be turned over to state delegations, and that'd be congressional delegations, not state legislature. I think our state legislature, most of them on the Republican side, there are a few, but most of them have no intestinal fortitude. They need to get to the bottom of all this, and I think Robin Vos is just playing lip service. I've known him for a long time. I just don't think that there's the guts to fight it. And I'm not celebrating. If Trump's able to prove this cheating and everything like that, I'm not celebrating. Because this is a horrible, horrible thing for our country. Because the very foundation of our country is the right to vote. That, in essence, is our entire country. And this would be a horrible, horrible scar on the concept of a republic. And it'll take a long time. So, yeah, that's also making assumptions. Electoral College doesn't vote by December 14th. If nobody gets to 270, that's the important part. I mean, they could vote and not get to 270 too. That's the big question. Or it could get tied up in courts. And they keep saying, and the media is, of course, like, Trump is refusing to step down. Trump is hunkered down in the White House. It's like he's polishing his rifle and saying, say hello to my little friend. No, listen. At some point, Trump loves this country. At some point, he will concede. Just not conceding yet. There's nothing wrong with it. Just like there was nothing wrong with it when Al Gore didn't concede. Al Gore was right to challenge the 2000 election. He went overboard trying to find votes anywhere he could find them. But he was absolutely right to challenge it. It was one state. He lost by one state that the difference was like 542 votes, something like that. Of course he's going to challenge it. Anybody would. President Trump is challenging this because there's real questions, and he's ultimately got to prove it. We will ultimately find out what happens. And in the end, right now, signs are likely pointed to a Biden presidency short of something extraordinary. If there is indeed a Kraken. But according to the rumors out there, this is the political map. There's these rumors about this server overseas that got seized. The Trump actually got 410 electoral votes. Shows him getting Virginia, shows him getting Manila, Minnesota, California, Nevada, Arizona, Georgia. I don't know how true this is. But with 70 million votes, could be a possibility. So is that something that's likely to happen? It might be a pipe dream. I don't know. And honestly, nobody knows. There's absolutely no ability to prove any of this. So at any rate, I'm going to share a link here. This is Sidney Powell's website. I'm going to share if you guys want to, it's called defendingtherepublic.org. It's the legal defense fund. And people are saying she's just doing this to sell more books and stuff like that, which I think is absolute bullcrap because of the fact that, okay, here's a woman who's putting her whole reputation on the line. She's not going to put her whole life's work on the line so she can sell a book. This is her thing. So Defending the Republic was established by Sidney Powell to defend and to protect the integrity of elections in the United States. Please contribute below. So once again, defendingtherepublic.org, defendingtherepublic.org. So you can make a donation here. It's a donation form. I would say make those donations and help out a good cause if you believe in it. So I'm not going to throw her under the bus. She has a chance to prove all this. We will ultimately see if there's any truth to it. I'm going to see if there's anything else going on here. I mean, this is what it is. When your hatred for one man becomes greater than your love for your country, then you're truly the problem. I saw this phrase the other day, and it was just, it's, these people are willing to do anything. Like all the recounting. And when they say there's no cheating, these people saying no cheating. Okay, then why can't we actually stand close enough to actually look at the ballots as they're being recounted? Why can't we compare the signature on the envelope with the signature on the ballot? That with the signature on file? Why can't we compare that? How's that disenfranchising voters? See, that's the whole problem. The Democrats are standing in the way of each and everything to verify these votes. They said the recounts aren't going to do crap because all they're doing is recounting bad ballots. We need to audit each and every state. And when I say each and every state, I say all 50 states. We need to audit everything. Let's put it all on the line. Let's audit the whole thing. Spend whatever billions it's going to cost to do. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, and Kimberly's saying that she actually got escorted by 3 sheriffs. Well, I hope you got a phone number. I hear you like handcuffs. Just kidding. No, but Yep. And Trump paid $3 million. Oh, yeah, guys, did you hear about that? Great point, Kim. The Trump had paid, he had to pay $3 million for 2 counties. When in 2016, the Green Party candidate paid $2 million for the entire state recount. So, in my opinion, if there is a Kraken, the Kraken is Sidney Powell. And from my understanding, one of the main people that's helping her with the forensic investigation of all the servers and all that stuff with the vote, the Dominion software systems or voting systems, is a guy by the name of Patrick Byrne, Byrne. Look him up. Patrick Byrne. He's the former CEO of Overstock.com. The guy's a gajillionaire. He doesn't have anything to gain from this. That's interesting. Dave Miller said, why did the absentee ballots not have envelopes or creases in them for when? Oh, interesting. It's almost like they were never mailed. They were just shoved into the machines. I guarantee they're going to find something. But my whole thing, if they find something, they got to prosecute. I don't care who it is. Oh, Christine. Hello, Christine. Welcome to the show. Yeah. Well, we're going to say it was rather interesting here in the state of Wisconsin. I don't know how many of you are watching from abroad, but the state of Wisconsin, the election commission had an emergency meeting. The Democrats had an emergency meeting to try to change their votes to make it virtually impossible to challenge a ballot. Instead of just using the same rules they used in a recount in 2016. Luckily, that failed. The Republicans or the conservatives were able to get it. Yeah. In a pipe. It's a pipe dream. Obama's never going to get prosecuted. Even if Trump wins, it's just not going to happen. I'd argue, sadly, it's not good for the country. But I don't have any problem with Hillary getting prosecuted or any of those people. And then, yes, we're hearing that the Georgia governor now, it's not just the Secretary of State in Georgia, but the Georgia governor, both have ties to millions of dollars in donations to them in payments to them from Dominion, the Dominion voting machine company, whatever they're called. Yes, Bob Spindell. Bob Spindell is great in Wisconsin. He's one guy, and he's getting up there in years. He's only going to be able to do it so much longer. But I'm hearing from a lot of people that the recounts in Wisconsin are a complete cluster. They're going against us every step of the way. And it's because the Democrats control everything. The election commission is 3-3, 3 Republicans and 3 Democrats. But 2 of the 3 Republicans are 9 times out of 10 voting with the Democrats. And every employee of the election commission seems to be all Democrat. They were the ones that that kept the 200,000 names on the voter rolls. They're the ones that prevented the Green Party from being on the ballot. I mean, there's so many things, and it's just this doesn't jive. Literally, these 6 major cities stopped counting votes. And then suddenly, when they started again, there were immediate shifts of over 100,000 votes, all for Biden. It's just not possible. Lynn Wood said, voter fraud in Wisconsin will raise your hair. Oh, interesting. This Lynn Wood is right now, he's been talking a lot about Georgia lately. He hasn't said, I haven't heard much about Wisconsin, so that's good to hear. I hope he has something here too. I mean, I'm actually kind of hoping it doesn't, because that means Wisconsin is corrupt. And how do we overcome the corruption? Now they have a formula on how to win. It doesn't do any good uncovering the corruption if Robin Voss and whoever the new leader will be in the Senate, if they don't do anything about it. I mean, Fitzgerald, I know you're a congressman. You're going to Washington, D.C. in January. You're still a state senator right now. You're still the head of the state Senate. He's not serving us right. It's not that he's not serving us well. He's not serving us at all. He's serving himself because he wants to run for governor in 2022. Yeah, and I'm at the point with the Republican legislature. I'm done. If they don't show courage now for the right thing, I would rather have them lose the majority in 2 years and do the right thing now. And chances are they'd win the majority again if they do the right thing. Because they're paranoid about re-election and, because they're so excited that they kept their majorities. Yeah, and tell me this. There were 27 seats that were in play by this group that always handicaps seats as to how many seats are in play and not in play for the United States Congress. There were 27 seats in play. The Democrats were supposed to gain another 15 seats. They ended up losing. And out of those 27 seats that were in play, the Democrats won 0. So the Republicans had an amazing night congressionally. And who knows, maybe with all the cheating going on, maybe they actually did get the majority in the House of Representatives. We'll never know. But how does Joe Biden underperform in every single city in the country, except for those specific 5 that he needed in those swing states? And then the Democrats lose their asses around the country. How's that possible? You underperform in every major city in the country. Everything from New York City, frankly, to even Richmond and Tampa and Cleveland and Columbus and even Pittsburgh. Yeah, he overperforms in 6 major cities. That is not possible. I suppose it's possible, but it's not likely. Because he's not somebody. He's saying that's where he spent his money. Yeah, no. He also spent money in a lot of other places too. He spent a shitload of money in Florida, and it didn't yield him anything. And he spent money in Texas. It didn't yield him anything. He spent money in Minnesota to keep Minnesota. And even Minnesota, he didn't overperform in Minneapolis. He underperformed in the state. So, sorry. I mean, I appreciate you chiming in like that, but that's not just where he spent his money. That has nothing to do with it. There's a pattern. He spent money in other major cities and did not get it. So, anyway, that's kind of funny how these people, Trump lost, ha ha ha. Oh, well. And maybe he didn't lose. We'll find out soon enough. But the fact of the matter is, even if Trump does lose this, ultimately, Trumpism won. The Democrats got their asses handed to them. They lost seats in the House. They barely have a majority which couldn't ultimately, after all the voting, they're still counting votes for some of these races. After those votes are counted, they could end up with only a 4-seat majority in the House of Representatives. 4 seats. That means the squad is the majority in House of Representatives. And they're not likely to win the Senate unless they steal that too. They are literally encouraging people to move to Georgia so they can vote, which is highly illegal. Actually, it's not a landslide. 300 electoral votes is not a landslide. A landslide would be Ronald Reagan, 1984. That's a landslide. Oh, I'm going to put his sign. Okay, well, Mike T has spoken. We're all delusional, guys. We might as well pack up and go home. Nope. No, we're going to live on the fight. We're going to live on. And of course, this guy's assuming that Joe Biden actually got 79 million votes. That people were so excited to vote for an old man with the dementia and a tramp who slept her way to the top, who the Democrats soundly rejected in the primaries. She didn't even make it to the primaries. That's how bad she was. But hey, you go on with your delusion thinking you got 79 million votes. Actually, he can say all he wants. It was not a landslide in 2016. So no, I'm not delusional. He won soundly, but that wasn't a landslide. So watch your mouth talking about a queen chump. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Moron. All right. So yep, Darby, perfect. That'll be, and that's where ultimately we got to hold the media accountable. They weren't acting like the media. The media, they're all being, they're not being journalists. They're being commentators under the guise of being unbiased. Oh, screw you. I support Kristi Noem and Nikki Haley. I love Condoleezza Rice. All these people, all these women I supported. And let's be real here. Most of the new Republican candidates who won U.S. congressional seats this year were women, including women of color. So stop with your sex baiting, and I'm sure you were going to go race baiting at some point too. And they're saying that CNN is lying to everybody by saying that that Kamala Harris is the first person of color to occupy the VP seat. That's actually incorrect. The first person of color was Herbert Hoover's vice president. Look it up. He was American Indian. So there. Yeah, I'm calling her a tramp. Ask Willie Brown and his family, who she was having an affair with him to get her position as a DA. And look it up. It's out there. It's actually factual and on record. But you go on with your delusion. And she was also, without question, she was also soundly handed her ass in the primaries. She never got to an actual primary vote because she got rejected by the Democrat Party. And the only reason she got picked was because of the color of her skin and the fact that she has a vagina. That's the only reason she was picked. So I'm sorry, I do not accept her as someone qualified. And she's horrible for race relations. Yep, you said her. Yeah, and just ask Tulsi Gabbard. Yeah, she totally nuked her. Oh my goodness. And what about Trump's wife? Really? Oh, these people are interesting. Anyway, so they of course think they're all that in a side of fries, I guess. There we go. Huh. I wonder what's happening here. Well, I'm going to knock off the. There. I removed it from Periscope. There's way too many trolls out there in Periscope tonight, so I'm just going to leave that out of here. A couple other things I'm going to do. Here's something, you want to talk about living in the Gestapo world right now? I'm going to share another article here, and this is where we're heading, people. This is 1930s Germany all over again. I'm going to share a screen. I'm going to go over here. Here's where we're headed. The Oregon governor, Kate Brown, tells residents calling the police on neighbors for public health violations is no different than a noise complaint. That's right. Tell your neighbors, tell on your neighbors because they're not wearing a mask. This is what it's coming to. In a news conference, she's telling people. Kate Brown said residents can call the police people who fail to follow the rules. If you don't comply, if you aren't compliant citizens, you will be rounded up and re-educated. I mean, this is what we're coming to. Is this the country we want to live in? This is why President Trump needs to defend. Okay. Oh yeah, she's my new VP. Oh yeah, I have fun. She's actually not my new VP. And even if she is, I won't accept her because she cheated her way to get to the top, just like she cheated her way to get to her DA position. She's a cheater, and now we know. So good luck. Yeah, this is absolutely crazy. So now we have the Gestapo out there, rounding people up for not wearing a mask. It's just a mask. Yep, and the SS said it was just a train trip. So I'm gonna block that guy. I'm blocking a few people. I'm in a blocking mood today because I'm just sick of people. Basically, in a nutshell, people don't realize what they've unleashed. They don't know what they've unleashed because now that we have all this evidence, and once again, I don't know if it's enough to swing the vote or to actually be officially proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Or actually, I think it has to be a preponderance of the evidence in this case. It's civil, not criminal. Well, actually, it could be criminal. But it has to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt. Will it be enough for the Supreme Court to overturn the election? We don't know. But what people will know is, even though it didn't rise to that level, it was there. It was plain as day. And ultimately, they have no idea the electoral shellacking that will be coming for them in 2022 and in 2024. And if they think that we're motivated now, just wait until we have Trump 2024. He's going to get 100 million votes because people are going to see this and they're going to tip their hand. They're going to start, especially if they get the Senate. I mean, if they get the Senate, all bets are off. It's over. I see states leaving the union. That's how dangerous it is right now. And I'm not saying this because I'm trying to be hyperbolic or anything like that. I don't think states will put up with adding 4 new senators that are all sure to be Democrat and, 5 or 6 new Supreme Court justices. Yeah, it's a very trying time right now. So hope and pray they don't win the Senate. I know many Trump supporters are ticked off and not wanting to bother to vote, and voting for Republicans is not what excites them. Voting for Trump is what excited them. Republicans just happen to be the beneficiaries of that. And there are many Republican congressmen around the country that were defending Trump beyond question, including McCarthy. So they'll be remembered in a good way. So, but we cannot let them have that power for 2 years. That's why you got to call everybody you know in Georgia and make sure they vote. Make sure they vote for those 2 Republicans. I don't care if they're perfect or not perfect. We need those 2 Republicans. We need to have a nice 2-seat cushion so that Kamala Harris will be rendered absolutely neutered. In 2 years, we can try to get a veto-proof margin. Then it won't matter. Nope. Yeah, Nader say, vote to move to Georgia, move to California. Sorry, dude, that's actually really illegal to do that. I don't recommend that. That's what the Democrats are going to do. We can't do that. It's people can get in trouble for it. And, Republicans will get prosecuted. Darn well they will. So I would not recommend that. Yeah, they need to get exposed at some point, but right now we cannot give the other side power. We'll take care of that in 2024. We got to be methodical about this. And, well, actually, we could win Kamala's seat. Oh, yeah, because the governor would get to appoint her successor in California, which is Newsom, who's a complete moron. Unless you guys can recall him. Yeah, David. Dave, what do you think? Is there a possibility Governor Newsom's going to get recalled in California? You guys have a history of kicking governors out. Yep. And that's a big question. Kamala has not vacated her seat yet. Do you think she knows something? I mean, clearly she wants to be a spoiler in the Senate in case Romney or Collins or any of them get all squishy on us for the next month. But yeah. So, well, guys, I appreciate you listening. I didn't have any guests on tonight. Just taking it easy tonight. Just wanted to vent. But keep the faith out there and don't throw Sidney Powell under the bus. I actually think there is something there. I just can't imagine somebody being that delusional that they throw away everything they've worked for over all their lives. I'm not saying it hasn't happened before. I just don't trust it. I think there's something more to this, and maybe I'm just being hopeful, but it is what it is. Well, guys, thank you for joining me tonight. Sorry, it was kind of boring tonight. It's not, I'm just trying to get through all this. There's just so much happening all at once. And yeah, Hilario keeps wanting me. You got to make it to an hour and take time to collect. It's been extended. Oh, time to collect signatures have been extended in California for recall. Well, maybe. Well, hopefully you guys can put up a recall. But do you have a candidate ready to run as a Republican in California? And that would be telling. Yep. And I hope that's the case, Trish. Well, not Thanksgiving. Well, I'll take a break for Thanksgiving. Maybe over the weekend. Maybe we'll do that, Ed. We'll do a late night Saturday night show or something like that. Let's see how it goes. Well, I must mosey off to see the wonderful Wizard of Oz. Because. So thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it. Keep the faith. We'll get this. Going here. The mayor of San Diego. Oh, Darlene, what's his name or her name? Oh, is and Paul Taylor, David saying, who's Paul Taylor? Or is Paul Taylor the mayor of San Diego? New Mexico's up for grabs. That could be interesting. Yeah, they're also looking at New Mexico. They're also looking at Virginia and other places with that. Okay. Oh, Falconer is another one. All right. Well, anyway, it'll be interesting to see what happens over the bit. And yeah, we got to figure out a governor candidate here in Wisconsin as well. We've got Rebecca Kleefisch running. She's for sure running. I mean, she hasn't announced, but she's running. There's going to be probably Kevin Hermaning. There's talk of some other folks. Sean Duffy, if he's able to run for office again. Apparently there's more to his leaving the Congress. I don't know. Scott Walker has been rearing his head a lot lately, so we'll see what he's up to. I don't think it's wise for him to run for governor again, because I think he'll get his butt handed to him in a primary. I don't think it's wise for him to run for state office. He's always been a 50-50 person, very controversial, even regardless of Act 10 and all that stuff. So he wasn't as popular as Tommy Thompson was. Tommy Thompson, was able, he was likable. He was liked by a bunch of people. So, but it'd be nice to find someone with Tommy Thompson's energy and ability to connect with people. And I just don't know. I mean, I know one or two people, but I can't really say. I know some other people that are talking about running that I can't say names at this point. Yeah, Sean Duffy would be great, and he'd be very. He would get the entire Republican establishment around him, and non-establishment all around him too. People like him. People really like his wife, and I think she'd be a better candidate for running for office. I think we need to get another woman running as well. So I think she'd be great. Kevin Hermaning, he was a former prisoner in Iran when he was one of the hostages in Iran back in the early 1980s. And yeah, and it'll be interesting. Hillary is saying she heard I'm running for governor. I just looked like the former governor. I can't. I don't want to be governor. Oh, that'd be fun. Get a lot of popularity. And yeah, Darlene, that makes a great point. If Ron Johnson steps down, Ron Johnson's not doing any fundraising or anything. I think he's done. I don't think he's going to run again. So that puts the Senate in contention as well. So it's going to be an interesting time. So I am going to try to get on these shows more consistently. Like I said, I'm picking Wednesday night as my night for sure. I might just do it once a week. It's just getting too hard to do it multiple days a week, but we will see. But in the end, yeah, nice guy. I don't know that he really stands the ability. I mean, he's a nice guy. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sold on him, so we'll see. Or his ability to win statewide. But the guy's working for it, so got to give him credit there. We don't need any squishy Republicans, aka Romney. And that's why, you know what, Jay, you are absolutely right. We cannot give the party back to the other people. From my understanding is that the Scott Walker and Scott Walker types are playing nicey nice with the Charlie Sykes types of the world. We've got to really, really watch that. I'm sorry, these never Trumpers lost their right to be in charge of anything. They were willing to hand the reins of power to that man with Alzheimer's and the woman who can't keep her legs closed. Yeah, Trish Brian Shimming's another name I've heard out there. I don't think Shimming would be a squishy Republican, and he's got kind of that personal ability. He's got great. He can connect with people too, so he's got the personality for it. He knows his stuff, so he'd be good. Bill McCoshen would be good. Like I said, I'd like to see another woman, not just Becky Cleafish. I love Becky. She's a great lady. I just don't know that she's going to be able to overcome that the Scott Walker albatross. And no matter what you think of Scott Walker, a lot of people dislike him. And there were a lot of Republicans that stayed home in 2018 as well. It shouldn't have even been that close. Huntsman primarying. Sure. Well, Huntsman, I mean, I think anybody should primary Romney. I don't care. I'll primary Romney if they have to. I'm dying. Your comments. My comments of Kamala are the best. You know, what's her nickname? Heels up. Then you have Joe Biden. He's the biggest racist since George Wallace. And I'm not being hyperbolic about that. He was really good friends with Robert Byrd, BYRD, former Klansman in the Senate. His nickname in the Senate was Sheets. Everybody called him Sheets Byrd because he was a Klansman. And that is proven. So that's his buddy. That's Joe Biden's buddy. But yeah, that's yeah. To think of all those people that got disenfranchised because the Democrats just needed power and they were willing to cheat. I hope this Dominion thing blows up in their face. I hope people are taken down and put in jail. I hope people are arrested. And why are all the C level officers of Dominion, this company in question, why did they all resign? Why are they all running away? There's a lot going on. Maybe there is something. I don't think the Mormons would be able to handle me in Utah. Sorry, dude. I'd make the tabernacle cave in if I were to walk in there. Yeah, Starlene, heels up. That's what it is. So, well, we got work to do. If you have an opportunity to go help with the counting of the votes to observe all that, please do so. Kimberly, who was talking earlier, she counted the votes. She was out there to vote counting. She actually got kicked out for doing nothing. And I guess it's happening a lot. It's some higher ups that I've talked to, they're saying it's a real shit show right now. So, and if all goes well, once again, this is what we're going to see come January 20th. And Donald Trump will take the oath of office once again. What's his name? Steve Bannon is pretty insistent on it too. I guess he knows more than I know. So, oh, really? I did not hear that. They're saying murder? This could be interesting. This could be really, really interesting. All right, folks, I got to go. But now I'm over an hour and 5 minutes. I hope you're happy, Hilario. You got another 10 minutes out of me. All right. Have an awesome night, everybody. Remember, I'll be on again on Wednesday night, and I'm working on some special guests as well. But for a while, I want to be kind of a talking head. I just got a lot on my mind, and we got to start planning for the future. Next week or two should be very telling as to where this is going to head. But keep the faith. Anything's possible. And most importantly, we got to get those 2 Senate seats no matter what. All right, people? So get to work. Call the people in the Republican Party in the state of Georgia. Ask them if you can make phone calls from here. Anybody can make phone calls from anywhere in the country. Volunteer, do what you need to do. And remember, defendingtherepublic.org, defendingtherepublic.org to help Sidney Powell's fund as well, so she can fight this corruption. All right, guys, have an awesome night. Be good. Bye.